This lecture is about applying rational equations. I'm specifically going to talk about work problems today. There are many kinds of rational equation problems in the real world that involve time, mixture, and distance, but I'm just going to concentrate on this one. This is probably the easiest of the rational equations in the real world. We have this question, will there always be an extraneous solution when you're applying rational equations? Well, more than likely there will be, because if you have things that are going to x squared, and you're solving, that means you're going to get two possible solutions. But we know in the real world it's impossible to have two solutions to a problem. There's really only going to be one solution to a problem. Like example, like how much time it takes for you to do something. You'll get one solution. It doesn't take two different times to do something. For example, dropping a pencil from 3 feet high to the ground. How long will it take? Same thing if you get x cubed, again, 3 different answers. So it's possible to get some extraneous solution. Also, it could be that the solution you did get doesn't work at all. Let's say it was to the x to the first power and you get one solution, but your answer was negative time. So, it's possible to get them all the time. So keep that in mind. Now, when we're applying rational equations, because of fractions, we need to check for extraneous solutions. In other words, answers that make the fraction go to 0 in the denominator. Why is that a problem? Well, that's a problem if we have 0 in the denominator because then the fraction is undefined. And we don't want to get a fraction undefined. Now, it's really simple when we work with work problems. It kind of sets itself up this way. We'll have one job, and that one job will consist of two different people's rates. The first person, how long it takes them, and the second person, how long it takes them. Now, what we'll be able to do is, by this one example, explain how we would set that up. So it says you and a friend have been hired to paint a room. It takes you 4 hours working alone to do the job. It takes your friend 5 hours working alone to get the job done. How long will it take for both of you working together? Well, let's start off by talking about how long it takes you to do it. It takes you 4 hours to do it. And it's going to take your friend 5 hours to do it. So what we're going to do is combine our rates. So for myself, my rate's going to be x divided by 4 hours. My friend is working with me, so I'm going to add their rate, which is going to be x divided by 5, and together we're going to do one job. So now what we're going to do is start to solve this. We're going to find the least common denominator. And the least common denominator here is going to be 20. So I'm going to multiply this first fraction by 5 over 5 and the second fraction by 4 over 4. That's going to allow me to make sure that I have a common denominator. So I'll end up with 5x plus 4x equals 1. 5x plus 4x is 9x divided by 20, and 1 turned into a fraction equals 1. Now, I have a proportion, so I solve proportions by cross multiplying. Do that, I end up with 9x equals 20, and then dividing both sides by 9, I get x equals 20 over 9. Now, that doesn't look really good if I was trying to explain to somebody I'm doing 20 over 9 hours. So we need to fix it from an improper fraction to a mixed number. So 9 goes into 20 2 times, and there'd be a remainder of 2. So 2 and 2/9 hours. As far as I'm concerned, this is acceptable to say 2 and 2/9 hours. You may get problems that will ask you how many minutes past 2 hours would that take. So you could find 2/9 of an hour. You'd say 2/9 of 60 minutes, and we would do some canceling, seeing what's going on here. We would get 40 divided by 3, which 3 will go into 40 roughly. Let's get this out here. It'll be like 13 1/3 minutes. So you can say that this is less than 2 hours and 15 minutes, or if you needed to be exact, 2 hours, 13 1/3 minute, that kind of thing. So that should help you do work problems. But as you can tell, they're very simple to do. All you need to do is keep in mind that you want to make sure it equals 1. If it equals one job, then you should have no problem. And again, just look for the rates. Here's the rate of yourself. Here's the rate of the person next to you. And if you had more than 2 people do the job, you would just keep adding on and keep adding their rates as you went along. But altogether, it's one job that you're working.